here. So let's crop a little bit. Let's say, for instance, you want to have just a little bit of the cube showing through here, but you don't want to show your viewer. You want to crop. Now, this space down here in my drawing could be your scratch paper. If you put scratch paper underneath your drawing, then you can do this, project your convergence lines and then take it away, and then the cube won't show up. But what I'll do is we'll pretend like this is scratch paper. So I'm going to put another cube down here, but fairly long and deep. We're only going to see what is inside the picture plane. So I'll position it like so, and then I'll come down and actually get it much straighter. Here, that's pretty off. So, you know, when you're sketching, you can sketch it loose. It's a good example. Sketch it loose, but then tighten it up and make sure that you've got it nice and crisp, like so. Okay, so I've got that there. Now the next step is I'm going to do some projection here of another vanishing point. So it's a design choice. If I use this vanishing point, I'm not going to get much of this side. So I'm going to extend the vanishing point further over to the right. Matter of fact, I'll put it right on the edge here, and I'll label that VP4, and that's going to be my new projection for depth. And so now I can come over, and from the fourth vanishing point, I can project convergence lines here and here, and now way down below here on my scratch paper, that might be 5 or 6 inches down below in your scratch paper. You'll figure out how to use that scratch paper. Just put it underneath your piece of paper. It would look, I guess it would look like this. Here's your regular piece of paper, and then your scratch paper could be underneath it. Maybe you put a piece of tape there, and so you can project your box up here like that, and then you take your scratch paper away. Okay, so now I have my box set in for my drawing, and I'm going to project the depth for it. So I think I'll bring it out to maybe here. So I'll put a line there where I want the right side to be. And then I'll draw a nice parallel line to it right there. And I'll end it. I could end it where the convergence line is, but since it's going to be cropped, I'll just end it there. So now that's accurate. And our viewer will feel that cropping, but they won't know how you got all this extra perspective. It'll be a nice, amazing trick, so to speak. Then I'll trace over my convergence line here. And then lastly, for my depth, my box across, rule of parallel, I need to bring that line up and over to, from the right to the left convergence line, and then trace over that line there. And now I have what's going to be a cropped box in my composition. So we've got some cropping now. Let's overlap a little bit. Let me show you that. Let's put another box that is in between this big box back here and this bigger box in front. Let's put it somewhat in between. So the first thing I'll do, I think I'll sketch it in green in the beginning so you'll see it. You won't get too confused. So it's going to sit somewhere over here. And it's in space that where I can walk, anybody can walk through in this composition. So I'll bring the vertical up. It's going to be in the ground plane. And I'll bring the horizontal over here to here. So let me tighten that up so you'll see it nice and clean. You want to keep your drawing nice and clean if you've done any quick sketching. Clean, clean, clean is the name of the game. Here and there, we've tightened it up there. Okay, now, so I'll let you see it. So this box now is going to be in between these two. Okay, for visual effect, let's use a different vanishing point. Let's use vanishing point 2. Why would I want to do that? Well, I want to see a top, but I want to see enough of the left side for visual effect. If I don't, if I use vanishing point 1 here, the original vanishing point, see how it lines up here, and it's going to be a very flat view, which is going to be awkward looking. Our box would look something like this to here and over and down, and we wouldn't see any of this left side. Artists don't like that. They don't like when these lines line up. Doesn't mean that the perspective on it is wrong. It's just not a very flattering or interesting or useful view in our composition. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm using vanishing point 2, and I'm going to project my convergence lines to here and over to here. And seeing through the box. So now you look how we're seeing through transparency with respect to our forms. Later on, we'll make them more opaque. So now I've got a box in through here that's in between. And now I've got my depth, and how deep do I want to make it? Well, I'm going to put this box all the way against the back wall. So we're going to create the illusion of space that's going all the way back, and it ends on the back wall. It can't go any further because we don't want to break the plane of the back wall. Here's as far as I can go, right there. So that's where I've got to stop. From that point, I bring up a horizontal line ending right there. So here is the left plane of my deep box now, going back in space, in behind this one, in front of this one. And now rule of parallel, I bring this line over to here. You can use your horizon line to help you out right there and over. And there's your box going back into much deeper space. Okay, so we've got some overlapping, we've got some cropping. How about stacking? In everything that we do in this lecture, this lesson, with 2-point, 3-point later on, will help get you in a relationship to working with the model. So if I have a movement here of a figure, let's say a head is here with the model, what you'll see a lot of times with respect to that is this form, like the rib cage, and then you'll see another form going in a different direction. And how do you know how to control them? So if I had a leg coming out here, maybe another leg doing that, how do you know how to control all of that in perspective? Hopefully in this video you're going to be able to see this. If not, then that's okay too. I'll get you to that point. So how do you control all those forms in space? That's going to be key for this lecture. Okay, so let's move on now to boxes where we stack. Let's put a 1-point box and stack some. So I'll put one up here, and let's go back. I'll go back to red. This will be an easy one. I'll just stack this box on top. So we'll thrust a box up here, and we'll slide it over to give it its dimension. Now we're not going to see part of that box. Why? Because we don't see the top of this form. So that box is resting down here somewhere. It's underneath here. And so now I'll just use this vanishing point to thrust my convergence, my depth. Remember that all your convergence lines help thrust your depth. So I have a depth here. That's all I need for that box. And then I'll end this box, about right here. Looks pretty good. Just an arbitrary design problem. And so now I've got a box, a stacked box on top of that one. So that looks pretty good there. So we've got that. Let's put another box on this green one, and let's make it stand up nice and tall and skinny here. We'll put a little thin box. It'll kind of be out here in front, but a little pushed off from the front of the box. I'll put a line there. And if you can't fit yours in the drawing, that's okay. When you're sketching along, just draw along with me a little bit. That's fine too. So we'll put a real thin box going way up here, nice and tall, thin, and we'll cut off the angle here, or the top of the box. Now, this will be a very extreme view if I use this vanishing point. I could use this one. Let's put another one out here. Let's put vanishing point number 5 out here, and we'll just put it on the corner too, on this very left corner. So VP number 5. And let's thrust it out here. And so I'll do depth projections for the skinny box. And so now we have a depth projection here. And we have one here. And so now we have all this coming across. Remember, forget about all this. You have to be very mindful of only the lines that you need in space for your form that you're drawing. So here we are. This green line and this green line are convergence lines. Let's keep the box, or let's push the box off of this so it's tilted over a little bit. And so off of the corner of this box, and let's make it, about right, that green line right there, then up, and this box will end right there. Now we have a tall, thin box that's leaning off of this box a little bit, so it looks kind of like we have this box coming back in space this way, and we have this skinny box sitting over here, and it's pushed off just a little bit. So there's a little shadow right in through there, little angle there. Okay, let's put a box up here that is sitting across this form. It's stacked, and so we'll put a horizontal line here. Now I'll move it across there. We'll push it up and over, so it's a horizontal box stacked up here and here. We'll do that. And let's use the same vanishing point as we did the other two. So from that point, we can go back to the vanishing point with our convergence lines here and